WAEO Radio, where you tune in to tune out.
Rahubat family, this is Sishat from Alanis Awakes, and we have Fatima here as well from Alien MCs, and we're Temple of Ma'atre. And today we have a really great topic to talk about. We're going to talk about the God complex and the ego. And, you know, part of discovering yourself, journey within, all that good stuff, you know, growth is knowing what the ego is and, you know, really breaking it down, knowing it from inside out and dissecting it, as well as, you know, dissecting the God complex as well. You know, we are creative beings and we like to create, and God is seen as a creator. And sometimes when we create, we get into this, what psychologists call the God complex, where sometimes we might think we're better than someone, or it might be hard to take criticism and things like that, and that kind of ties in with the ego. So before I dive in, or before we start building, I just kind of wanted to pull out some definitions of these words so just people have an idea of what they actually are. So according to the etymology dictionary, ego is defined as, in terms of metaphysics, the self, that which feels, acts, or thinks. From Latin ego, so the word I, also cognates with Old English. In psychoanalytic Freudian sense, from 1894, it's a sense of conceit. Ego trip is first recorded in 1965 from trip, and it's also related to egoical and egoity. And then, let's start from ego. Fatima, do you have anything you want to add about ego, like your definition of ego, what ego means to you?
Yeah. Right back, peace. Salam alaikum, whatever. Somebody wants to go by, you know. But me, ego is a disease of the mind. Period. You know, whether we define it and that was a clear, concise one. But people need to look at it like it's a disease that they want to get rid of. It ain't nothing but that. Because it blocks you from even reasoning. Ego is a trap of nothingness. Period. And people will fight against it because it makes them feel grandeur. It gives them a false grandiose feeling. So that's what I would say about ego. I ain't gonna go too far, but yeah.
Oh no, you're good. You can go as far or as not far as you want, but yeah, thanks for that wisdom to add on to your wisdom, Fatima. Yeah, it is like a disease, and I feel like ego, it weighs you down in a way. And you know, when we talk about ma'at, right? Ma'at is balance. And when
Mm-hmm.
your soul or heart, you know, when you pass on, gets weighed in the scales of ma'at, it's supposed to be lighter than a feather. And to me, ego weighs you down. Ego isn't going to make you lighter than a feather. That's just me. And because in the end, you're going to have to strip yourself from all these titles, not only your possessions, but your titles, your
Mm-hmm.
names, your clothes, your cloaks, even your mind has to be stripped away from you, because there is there is realms higher than mind, and we can go more into that as well, but even that has to be stripped away from you. And you need to become lighter and lighter and lighter if you do want to, make it to what people would call the kingdom of heaven, or or heaven, but not in a spooky sense, but to ascend your soul and ascend your spirit to higher realms. You can't be
It's a
heavy. You
state of
can't.
mind.
Yeah, you can't have all that baggage with you, like we talked about in the last episode. So getting rid of that ego
Yeah.
is part of it. And when you strip yourself from all these titles and names and cloaks and things like that, you're left with a self. It's not just an I self, but it's, at least this is how I would say it, but one with the source. And when you're one with the source, the self disappears and you're back to your original state. That's just how I see it. But if you want
Yeah,
to add
I
on
get
to
you.
that.
Yeah, I would say that to you would have to me, when you want to trap, you have to trap. You have to know what your ego is. What is it first? So first you have to be honest with yourself to say that you do have an ego. Submit to it, because most people say I don't have ego, but when they really do, you know what I'm saying. So you have to submit to the ego first, admitting that you do have it, to see it in its form and how it's utilizing you. It's the energy. So you have to trap that energy to overcome it, like getting rid of it. It'll always be there. You'll recognize it as a energy when it comes. So even when someone else is dealing with ego, sometimes when I say that word, people will say, no, you're dealing with ego. Saying that because you're dealing with ego. No, I can recognize the energy doesn't mean that it belongs to me. I once, you know what I'm saying? I once was in that state, but like you said, it's absence of self. It's one with the source. So you recognize every energy as it comes. Fear, love. People don't have to speak. You tap into a higher part of your mind to just know. I don't know. Like, I don't know what a person looks like just from the tone of their voice. I don't have to see you. That's tapping into with absence of ego allows someone to do that. But people,
Exactly.
yeah, you tap into. I'm. I don't know. I never, but I drew a picture. Mookie could tell you. I drew a picture of him and Day before I even met him and Day. That was the absence of ego. You just let your mind go, the freedom of your mind. But people have been taught that people have been taught uh to be a devil. Really, that's what the ego is. The ego is stubbornness. If you look at the devil or the shaitan or that adverse energy, it describes ego.
Yep.
So you have to trap that devil in you to conquer that. You got to look at the ego. You got to submit to it first. Know what it is. But most people don't even know what it is. Most men, especially.
And
Especially when you start talking about the black woman is God. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
oh no, you can keep going. You're spitting that truth.
Especially when you, yeah. Especially the ego, the big buff chest. Me and the brother Master Abraham, that's been my buddy for over 20 years. And so we have little jokes when we see people, with the ego coming, we be like, excuse my language, it's not really harsh, but they say they got them ego titties. So most of the time, when the ego come out, you feel it in your chest. You got to recognize where that energy comes from. You feel it in your chest when you're talking. You got to even recognize your energy that you're projecting in your body. As soon as you say that the black woman is God, the brother was like, well, ain't no woman less than me. Well, you been over and have a baby. Do that, bruh. I don't care about the
Yep.
sperm. Let's go back to that. Come on, we're gonna shake down this ego today. Because if we talk about the sperm cell, if you look at the sperm cell, it looks like a ghost cell.
And
It's shaped like a six. And
yep,
the woman has the seed. Everything grows from what?
a seed.
So what they doing? Your mother had you. Your mother was your God. Sorry, bruh. She was. Because she taught you everything that you know. She even taught you how to discern other people. When you see somebody that look like that, get away from her. Get away from him. This is hot. This is cold. Touch that. Nope, that's hot. Don't do that. She gave you all of your how to discern your balance. She gave you a balance. Before you was even on this side, you was in her womb. It was in her womb. You was already created, just waiting. That's not in men. But me saying this has nothing to do with ego. Nothing. But the ego-filled mind will see it as an attack, and it's men. And two sisters that use black women as God and trying to belittle our brothers, our sons. That's not God. That's devil, honey. That is devil. Because you're not. He's come from you, but you're still one. So me saying I'm a God does not take away from your kingship, your emperorship, your crown, or whatever.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, sister.
No, you're good. And to add on to what you're saying, about, ego being the devil, it is. And a lot of people might not realize it as well. They're not aware of it. It's also, I would like to look at it as one of the attributes of what you would call the devil or disagreeableness, or like I said, shaitan, iblis, rebelliousness. It's an attribute, and people might have, been programmed with that attribute and not even know it. So that's why when you point out to them you have ego, or so-called criticize them, that's when they can't take criticism. The ego won't
Yeah.
let you take criticism. The ego doesn't let you learn. The ego doesn't let you become a student. Sometimes
Yep.
it's okay to sit back and be the student and listen to the teacher, or just listen to anyone. Listen to opinions, listen to your friends,
You
listen to...
have to be a student to be the
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah,
How did the teacher get to be a teacher?
exactly.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No,
But
you're
they just
good.
want to skip to the teacher part. That's ego too. You just want to skip all the way over and just teach. And you can't be taught because you may not know everything. That's a possibility.
And
See,
that's
that's that
okay.
grandiose ideas. Yeah, that's that grandiose idea that ego does. You're above everything. People are less than you. Instead of you saying like all is one, all is the source. That's like you're saying. The source. When you see everything as that, there's no separation. You are not yourself. In ego. There's no self.
Yep.
It's all self in ego. The absence of self is no ego. And that's not saying that we walk around dirty, that I just let people walk over me. None of that fantasy world stuff. It's not none of that. You can still stand up for yourself with the absence of ego. Truth is truth. And people say that just because they have an ego mindset behind that. They say truth is truth because they don't want to hear anybody else's whatever they got to say. Mm-mm.
Yeah. And ego also gives you like a tunnel vision or a narrow mindset or a narrow way of looking at things. You're supposed to look at the bigger picture. That's part of overstanding or right overstanding, not just understanding the situation, but overstanding what's going on, how it's going on, why it's happening, who's involved, how it happened, what was the cause, and when you have ego, you just look at from your point of view, just me, 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 me. When you overstand, you look at it from like a bird's eye view perspective. You look at it from her perspective,
That's
my
Ashok you
perspective.
talking
Yeah,
about.
their
Yeah.
perspective, even the tree's perspective and the lamp's perspective and the whatever's around you's perspective. That's overstanding, and that's
You're talking
becoming
about divine love.
and that's becoming more divine because you're able to understand what every entity, what every object, everything, how it feels, how it works, how it vibrates, instead of just thinking how you vibrate on or what frequency you're vibrating on. You get to encompass all vibrations around you, and that's connecting to the source too. That's connecting with all. That's connecting with the all.
Ego also blocks higher senses. And one of your higher senses is people look for other stuff, but a spiritual gift is compassion too. Ego blocks that. That's a spiritual gift. Even listening is a spiritual gift. People that are intuitive listen to themselves. It's a spiritual gift. If that on your chest, you know what I mean, it comes from your mind, you're not going to get to the spiritual gift that you're looking for. It's not going to heighten for you. It's going to stay stagnant in a downward spiral that ego makes you think is grandiose. It tricks you to think that you're high when you're actually low. It's a trick on your mind, which harms your body because when you feel it, every emotion attacks the body. Every energy attacks the body. Not attacks, it lives there. So if you're sad, most people when they're sad, they feel it in the front of their face. When they're happy, it's from the back of your jaw. When you're angry, you feel it in your chest, upper area, and in your stomach. You know what I mean? Every emotion has an energy center in your body. You need to listen to your own self when you are angry or when you're not listening to someone or when you're talking to someone and they're making you angry. You need to where do you feel that at? They don't even understand how we operate. They want to skip to, something. That's what the ego does. Make you skip to something else. Example, ego says when you're talking calmly and you're telling someone something and then they go off.
Hmm.
You didn't even listen to what I said. What you went into is in your ego bag and you pulled out a hat in your head and you decided to, display it. That's all you did. No love and ego. None. No ashug. No divine love. No hua. None of that.
Exactly. You know, to add on to your wisdom, sister, you're so right about everything being backwards, and it's really like people think the battle with the devil is outside of you, but it's actually within you. You create your devil within your own mind, and that's the ego, and you're in constant battle. And Ani, he has a really good analogy that he always likes to tell me. You know, it's that prince saving saving Rapunzel in the tower story. So the prince is like your the prince is kind of like your lower self, and Rapunzel's like your higher self. And in order to achieve your higher self, there's that dragon in the way, and that dragon's ego. And yourself has to defeat that dragon in order to achieve your higher self, or one with the source, or whatever you want to call it. But I feel like that's kind of a good analogy to put it as, defeating that dragon, slaying that dragon in order to ascend. And like you said, the complex in your mind puts you so high, right? And when someone destroys that complex, that ego, and you think you bring down low, but actually you becoming selfless, becoming one with everything, it actually brings you higher, like you said. Your spiritual senses heighten. You're able to receive more information, affirmation, understanding, wisdom, knowledge. And I think also part of it too is you're always looking down on people. Not you, but when we have ego, we're always looking down upon people or comparing yourself to other people. When
Yeah,
you
you're
don't need
right.
to compare yourself to other people. You're already,
You're
you are
you.
your yeah you're your own individual.
Yeah. I think that well, I know that the ego. I'm sorry, sis. Were you done?
Oh no, you're gonna keep. No, you can keep going.
Like you said, that the analogy of that dragon in you, that heat. You know what I mean? In you that you need to extinguish. Because if we look at the God, or we say God, we using that word, God doesn't have an ego. He does what he needs to do. If you want to think about it like that, for those that think about it like that, you know what I'm saying? If God doesn't have an ego, because seasons happen, the wind, even if it looks like it's bad, if it rains, storm, or whatever, it's blessing to some and it's tormenting to others. So it's no ego with that. It just happens. Like you should naturally flow like that too. Off your course. Can't nobody make you angry. You make you angry because you chose to be. Period. Nobody did that to you. Nothing in the book can make you angry. You choose to get angry from what you read. That is dealing with ego. Instead of seeing where that person came from, you know, that in itself,
Exactly.
the ego complex is what is stopping all of us from uniting. Period. The ego. It's keeping us, the devil in the ego in you, that the disagreeable energy, that whatever is keeping us separated. Because the person to say that they're, and another one to say they're Hebrew Israelite, and only thing they can see with each other is the differences. And then they divide. They just want to point out what's wrong with what they, how they believe. But can you say, like, I could see a problem with somebody if they were destroying their community. You know what I'm saying? But if it's some brothers that he might, or sisters, they Muslim and they got people, working together, they're cleaning their neighborhood, they, whatever. They're not bothering anybody. Their kids are peaceful. I would let my children play with them. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't see the peace in them? Regardless of the Arabs being slave masters or whatever. And I'm not just defending any Muslim or what they see. See, and you know what? I thought it was awesome that the brothers, the Hebrew Israelites, would stand on the corner. But I don't like their aggressiveness. I never liked their aggressiveness. But I saw the beauty in their unity.
Hmm.
Some of us need some of that. We need to get together, and maybe not the aggressiveness and you're going to fight people or argue, you know what I'm saying, but that get together and they pushing for, even on rainy days they outside.
The collectiveness.
Yes, I saw the beauty in that.
Yeah.
When you're the absence of the ego will allow you to see the beauty in everything, the divine in everything. and
And
the devil and everything.
mhm. And not to interrupt your wisdom, sister,
No, you good.
and to add on to it, getting rid of the ego is true, not like true mental peace, true spiritual peace, true physical peace. It's like you said, true godliness, true divine is getting rid of the ego, because when you get rid of the ego, you become silent and you just observe.
Yep.
And like you said, you find the beauty in things, or you find the overstanding in things. That was a great way of putting it with the Hebrews Israelite brothers. You over that's a great example of overstanding. Someone is in their ego would be like, y'all religious, I'm better than you because I'm my own God, I'm a netter, I'm a netteru, I don't fall under a God. I'm God. I'm the creator, I'm the most high. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
attacking them for what they believe in, instead of coming together as a collective and be like, okay, I have my ideas, I want to listen to your ideas as well, and maybe we can come find a common ground, and maybe we can work together as a collective.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also what Atlantis Awakes, that's why I also created Atlantis Awakes as a platform for our people, no matter what background you're from. No matter what background you're from, whether you're from Moorish Science Temple, whether you're from Egyptology, Hebrew Israelite, Pan-Africanist, RBG, Nuwapian, whatever walk of life you're from, I think we can all. I just have this great vision, and I know it's going to come true, that we can all come together as a collective. Just get rid of the titles. Just get rid of that for just 1 second, and just see that, we're brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because I agree, because I always say that, like, there's no need for titles. Like, I understand what the word Nuwabu means. So yeah, I'm a Nuwabian. So I also understand what the word Muslim means. So yeah, I am a Muslim. Or if I said I am a Christian, that means I am anointed. You know what I'm saying? One of those that's
exactly,
anointed. And I don't see it as a separation. I see all of how it goes together in different tones. That's it. Yeah, we had man came along with their ego and corrupted, but the divine eye will see through it. Go ahead,
exactly.
sis. That's fine.
No, you're good. Wow, that was beautiful, sis. It's just um, ego. It just breeds hatred, racism, like, and even like leadership. Like, leadership is good in a way. Someone has to take a role as a leader, but in a way, you know, a good leader will listen to the followers and teach the followers how to become their own leader. And not just be like, you have to listen to me. You teach them how to think, not what to think. And if everyone's a leader as a collective, imagine how much we can accomplish. And and like our affirmations, we like to say, we succeed as part of the all, but fail as an individual. So you can be an individual all you want, but if we really want true success, we just all need to work together. It's pretty simple, but it's just hard to change these brothers and sisters' minds when they're, stuck in this ego. Stuck in this, I'm better than you, so I don't want to work with you, or you believe this and I don't align my views with you. But as long as you work with the righteous, or so-called righteous or agreeable people, and we have the same vision, most of us has the same vision to become free. We want to become free. We want to be self-sufficient. We just, want to do our own. You know what I mean? For those who have that vision, why not come together? That's just how I see it.
Yeah, because the root of it all. I don't care if you're a Rasta, if you're a Buddhist, all of it is about peace. All of what you practice, all of what you try to implement in your life every day. The base of it all is peace. So, and everybody is being divided. That has to be ego. What else is it? The ego is in the place. If you can't see the peace in what someone else is doing, then the ego is your way of thinking, your way of your mind operating. Because it was one post. I mean, I know, people say the word queen means, I did the quotation marks in the air like you could see it. The word queen means whore. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really, okay, I understand etymology, but people use the word nigga, and they saw the beauty in that. No, I don't mean it like this. I don't mean. So why can't you do that with the word queen? A lot of people may be calling their sisters, may be calling themselves queens, or brothers may be calling their woman or their sisters queens. And they don't mean it derogatory. So you got to go to the white man's dictionary, the one that you say that you're against or whatever. That's right, hogwash too. And then you go, ego made you do all that. Beauty and the brother calling his woman a queen or calling another sister queen, you got to say you calling her a whore. Disagreeable. Why is that? Why is that important? They're not even looking at the beauty of it. Male ego is why religion happens anyway. Let's be real. Ain't no women in the charge and the head of any religious organization. Let's be real about it. The male ego has created a separation amongst everyone. They rule the world, the head of the nations and all of that. Not ours.
Mm-hmm.
But the male ego is what's caused the division. It's feminine. It's not a
Yeah,
woman. She doesn't wear a dress. She doesn't have earrings. It's just a feminine energy. What you came from. The womb that you were in. Wow.
exactly. And how I
Yeah.
was, yeah, to add on to your wisdom, how I
Mm.
was explaining to you earlier, before the show, for thousands of years, it's been, you know, the man is the most high God, the man is the son of God, all these people worshiping male prophets. It's just been about men, 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 men. The moon cycle, Kingu. And now that, a lot of women have been waking up, especially Melaninite women, have been waking up to who they really are because they've been asleep. Now that they've been waking up and they want to say, I'm a goddess. I can create. I can do things. Not in the way of egotistical way, because women for thousands of years they're so selfless. They didn't say I'm God, but they knew that they're the creator, but they wouldn't say that out loud or anything. But now that they have the chance to say it, now that they have a voice, they're still shut down. And men automatically think, oh, they're trying to be higher than me. I'm not saying all men, but some men try to think, oh, they're trying to be higher than me. We're equal now. We're equal. What hasn't been equal for the past 6,000 years? So,
You're right.
like,
That's right.
we're not even saying it to be higher than you. In a way, though, mitochondrial DNA is passed through the mother. You did come from your mother. The first women, the first bones that were found on the earth were women. So women first inhabited the earth. I mean, there's undeniable facts that the women came first, at least on earth. But, you know, we're still trying to be better than you guys. But it's just I'm not saying it's facts that we're better than you guys, but it's facts that we created men. It's you can't really deny the facts anymore. You know,
Nope.
don't duck when the truth is thrown at you.
If you even look up the word earth, it's a feminine word. No matter what language you look it up in, Tiamat is even feminine. You know what I mean? If you want to look at any of the key, whatever, they are all feminine words.
Yeah,
So
even
anything on this, yeah.
oh, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Go
No, go
ahead.
ahead, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to
If
add real. Oh,
anything, go
sorry,
ahead,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry, no, I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to add real quick. Even nature comes from nurture, and who nurtures the mother? She breastfeeds. She nurtures the baby, the infant. The man can't breastfeed.
Nope, it has breasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
I'm
keep
saying
going.
like anything that comes, like even the sun that shines on this earth, Shems, is a feminine word. You know what I'm saying? So anything that's on this side, like you saying, this planet, let's just deal with this planet. This planet, anything that is birthed on this planet comes from the higher source, which is feminine. Period. That's just reasoning. We don't gotta use anything else. They need to let that go. I just want to see one man have a baby. That's it.
Yeah.
You got breasts, but your breast is even a genetic defect. It's not anything that can produce milk from it. You got breasts with no, and you can still get breast cancer. How about that? Men can still get breast cancer, but you can't produce milk from your breast. So you can get the disease of the breast, but you can't give life from your breast. Your breast. That ain't no attack on nobody's manhood. See, it's a lot of layers to it. It's a lot of layers, like the religious layer. Then they have like the idea of sex, and how the world makes it men's sex is the control.
Mhm.
All of that has to do with ego. A lot of men have ego with their sex. That's why a lot of men practice polygamy as well, because of ego.
Yeah, and if
Not yeah.
to add on to not to cut off your wisdom, but if men
Mhm.
can have multiple wives, then women can have multiple husbands.
Right.
If you're going if if they want to say that.
Yeah. Yep.
And you know in the media too, there's a lot of programming, there's a lot of heavy programming, like you said, the sexualization of women, the objectifying of women in the media make us just look like objects, don't even have a soul, don't
Weak.
have the spirit. Hmm.
Right. Men can. I might. It's not vulgar. We're just dealing with science. Men can't
Hmm.
multiple orgasm. I mean, that somebody might just cringe at somebody saying that, but that in itself is that in women is show you, that is some kind of more power over there,
Hmm.
regardless of what TV told you, man.
Hmm.
And that's not to say that women are we don't want partners and since you're God, I had a whole two brothers make a broadcast about me on YouTube because he was like, since you're God, why are you married? Huh?
That doesn't make any
They made
sense.
a whole broad yeah, they made a whole broadcast about, what I was saying on YouTube. Like y'all went because I tapped into something that you don't want to deal with. And both of them single though.
That's
Right.
ironic.
You don't even respect women. This is another
Hmm.
layer. They show the disrespect of women. They put women on TV and on ads, campaign ads, half naked. They just make her look like a sex object. That makes weaker. You're weaker. It's something that you got to overpower or take power of. These whole
Mhm.
subliminal thoughts are pushed, or women are bitches.
It's gotten to the point even it's affecting the youth.
Yeah.
And the youth is very important, and they get programmed from very young. And I just saw a video the other day. A girl, she was ashamed of the color of her skin because she thought she was too dark and ugly. And just people were saying, just by saying a compliment to her, she was crying because she doesn't even get compliments anymore. But when her
Wow.
group of girlfriends were giving her compliments, she just started, like, literally, like, just a minute of compliments, and she started crying, like, out of
Yeah.
happiness and a shoot, like, of her support group. And it was a beautiful thing to see, but also so sad because that's how much, like, like how much, like, do you have to, like, push down us women, like, to get to that point? Like, it's just
Yeah. I get you.
crazy. Yeah, it's just
And
crazy how the
women are
world's right
women
now.
are women. Men compete, but let's talk about the women because we talk about the men. We said,
Mhm.
but women have an ego too. Well, that's not say I'm not saying, and I know you're not saying that women don't have ego. They do, and a lot of pushed. I don't need no man to do nothing. That idea I don't
Mhm.
either. But that the idea behind it, the energy behind it, and also, from all of the behaviors that men have, and it's like a constant cycle. Like they have a a separation mentality, or they're gonna create. Some women create the perfect man in their sons, their
Mhm.
idea of a perfect man in their sons, and they ruin them. They ruin their girls. I had a woman tell me that she didn't want any girls. She didn't want those problems. As if boys don't have sexual problems that could get a girl pregnant, or so we have issues too, deep ones, because we raised these boys. We're raising the boys, so the ego has to come from us first. We put it
Yeah.
in them.
Yeah.
So
And
we have to
yeah.
get rid of that. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead, sis. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, you're good. I don't want to cut you off, but we're gonna have to continue part 2, if that's cool with
Mm-hmm.
you. And then we'll resume the show. Is that cool?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. All right.
Why do people will be right back.